Alam mong magaling kang umiyak? Grabe ka umiyak.
Kwento.
Grief, ikaw ang lalaking Judy Ann.
Grabe naman yun.
Hindi.
Grabe naman yun.
Gripo kang pansinin mo, ang mga umiiyak isa lang. Ganyan, isa lang. Ikaw talaga. Grief.
Parang naghilamos daw ako. Sabi
Oo.
Sabi ko, ba't naligo si Kristoff?
Nakakatawa kasi habang pinapanood namin yung I think
Quadra?
it was the Wednesday episode and the
The
Thursday
Thursday.
episode na
Yeah.
highlight talaga ni Kristoff.
Oo.
We were both watching. The first night we watched here on the monitor. Pagtingin namin sa isa't isa, umiiyak. Thursday night, we were in bed. Pag commercial gap, tinginan. Ay! Gripo na naman! And to be honest, we don't know how these scenes are gonna look like. Kasi we're just acting and then we move on to the next scene. But to see everything edited together,
Ang ganda, no?
napakaganda.
Ang ganda.
At napakagaling mo po.
Oo. Hindi, napakagaling mo kasi, I'm sure nabasa niyo ang comments ng tao.
Yes, we did.
Kung gaano kanila ka-hate mula umpisa up to that point, nung umiiyak ka na, nung nireveal mo.
Yeah, that's where it started.
That's where it started.
Oo, doon naawa ang tao sa kanya.
Yung siya yung pumatay sa nanay niya.
Oo, imagine pinatay mo na pero awang-awa pa ha. Di ba? Awang-awa sa iyo ang tao.
You know, art is such an organic and elusive
Yeah, both.
craft.
Both.
Yeah.
Diba? Kasi when we did that scene where, yun nga, sinabi ko kay Margaret and B na ako yung pumatay, it was so hot.
Yes.
Yeah, kitang-kita. Oo.
So we were
Tirik,
rehearsing and dahil sobrang haba nun, parang
Oo.
9 hog, 10 hog siya.
At saka siya, 3 body siya, 4 body siya.
Sobrang
At
haba
nag-carry
niya.
over sa following day.
Yes.
Oo.
Sobrang haba niya. So yung rehearsal namin, mala 1 hour. So, init na kami and everything. So sa totoo lang, I knew the weight of the scene in terms of our story, where it landed in our story. But at the same time, I also knew the obligation. And I was like, okay, I try not to pressure myself na I have to hit this. So I was like, I know who Kristoff is at this point. Nasa tail end na tayo ng kwento. I will internalize, I will memorize, I will put in the work, and then let's just see where we land. And
Ang galing naman.
nagulat ako. Nagulat rin ako because I was like, it was so hot. It was so hot. I was like, paano nangyari? It's challenging with the heat because the body is very distracting.
As a question, pag rehearsal, you give your all?
No.
That's when we're figuring it out. So
Okay.
we rehearse and we read everything. We rehearse and we read everything in the dressing room when we're together. And then when we're on set, we figure out our nuances with our blocking. Because syempre we're working with the set also. So if we're outside, I mean, there's no way to really work with the set because you're just working with each other. Side note, na-sunburn kami ni Rian dun. Yung paa
talaga?
namin, yung balikat ni Rian.
Oo, dahil naka-ano siya.
Yeah, and my eyes are so sensitive to sunlight. Marimar days pa lang. So lagi ko sinasabi, pwede pong may butterfly tayo. Butterfly yung parang they cover the sun. Grabe. Yung ko dun, yung line ko na never, di ba nakapikit ako nun, pinikit ko talaga yun kasi nasisilaw ako.
Oo, pero
But it works.
maganda.
But it worked.
Yeah.
And we were both questioning, how are we gonna be able to show our emotions as Diana and Kristoff when we're dealing with physicalities, the
heat.
extreme
Yeah.
heat,
Kaya nga,
We were a bit worried at the
yung
start.
the sweat,
We
yung
were
buong
like,
mukha namin, punong-puno ng pawis.
kudos sa inyo talaga at ganun lumabas yung eksena.
So beautiful.
Oo, so nung napanood ninyo,
Napan namin,
we were
nagulat
so
kami.
happy. Nagulat kami. I mean,
kami.
we were happy we were able to parang hit the marks that we
Yeah.
set for ourselves during the scene. But when it was all put together also, it was very
Grabe.
satisfying and
Yeah.
fulfilling to see.
isa sa mga pivotal moments nung show, no?
Sobra.
Ang isa sa proud kami, magyayabang na ako ha.
Yes, please!
Magyayabang na
Please!
ako. Ang isa sa proud kami, yung nagagawa namin na bawat character may highlight at kunyari, kahit galit kami, highlight ka, di ba? Pero for me, ang pinaka-highlight mo yung itong last week natin na
For sure.
Tapos, natutuwa rin ako na medyo feeling ko lang naman to ha. Among all the characters, ikaw yung walang nagwala ka.
Yes, that's conscious effort.
Hindi, maski script-wise, wala kang confrontation talaga na loud, ganyan-ganyan. Kaya ang pili ko, minsan kapag writer ka, mapipili mo, ay, parang nagigilty ako na
Walang highlight.
walang highlights, ganyan. But, napanood ko yung last episode natin na yung towards the end, it's yours. The episode is yours. Yung
And I wanted to make sure na a highlight does not have to be big.
Yeah.
Diba?
Does not have to be loud.
It doesn't have to
Yeah.
be loud. Yes, there were moments and beautiful moments of Margaret na yung character niya, it just so happens na yung highlight niya malaki. But for Diana, because of her character, every single moment, kahit tahimik, should be a highlight.
At dahil sa tahimik ka, lagi kang suspect.
Yes!
Umpisa pa lang. Di ba?
Oh!
Dahil tahimik ka.
True.
Sabi, naku, tatahi-tahimik yan.
Oh my God,
Itingin-tingin lang yan. Di ba? Pero, since day one, isa ka sa suspects. Kasi, isa pa, lagi ka nasa background.
Yes, always in the background.
Oo, lagi ka nasa background. Kaya,
Nakikinig lang sa away nila.
naghihinala ang tao, di ba? Yun.
I have something to share.
Okay,
I have
go.
something to share.
And I hope
Because
that we can share with our team also.
I was never great at crying.
Oh.
It's true though. Like, if you look at Sanay Ko Na Nga, which we did together, I obviously had a lot of crying scenes. Ako yung leading man doon. I probably was really able to cry 0.5 times, not even one whole time. So I don't think I was able to do it. But that was always my goal. It was like, not necessarily to be able to cry, but to increase the range of vulnerability for me as an actor. And I knew that was such a huge challenge kasi yung range ko was it started very, very narrow talaga.
Yeah.
So yun nga, I was never really into the arts. I was never into acting. So I was starting with a very, very, small starting point. And I just kept on trying to grow it. And then I had this goal of just being able to slip into a point of vulnerability. And to get there, to that point, it's kind of crude what I did, but I want to share it. Because I heard from someone na, kung gusto mo umiyak at gumaling sa pag-iiyak, edi umiyak ka araw-araw. Yun lang. And then I was like, I guess that kind of makes sense. Because there was a certain point, and I would always tell you this, na 2013, 14, 15, I was like, oh my God, hindi naman ako makaiyak, hindi naman ako vulnerable. Paano ko ba talaga magagawa ito? Kahit ano gagawin ko, kasi workshop ako, I was trying. Sige, iyak ako everyday, try ko lang.
Eh, bakit dito gripo?
I think, no, so what I did was towards the latter end and of siguro 2015 onwards, I would really try to, I guess I realized I was workshopping myself. I would really set aside time and I would go through old scripts and I would go through movies and then I would try to see, okay, what puts me in this place of vulnerability? Because I already know that vulnerability is a weakness of mine. I can't get to that point. So, it was literally like lifting weights. Yung nagbubuhat ng mabigat, eventually yung mabigat, mas nagiging madali.
Yeah.
And I think yun yung nangyari sa akin, na parang I just keep on trying and trying and trying. And then there was a breakthrough, and I think the breakthrough happened a teleserye ago, In Love of My Life.
Oh, Love of My Life, yeah.
Doon ka unang napansin, puring-puri ka nila LGR doon
So,
sa ano.
when I was able to get there, I surprised myself also.
Oo.
So, I was like, oh, and then the only thing I can attribute it is to, yun nga, yung very crude way of like, every day I was kind of like workshopping myself for like 20 minutes and trying to figure out how do I reach this point of vulnerability.
Parang muscle memory din kasi siya eh. You don't know unless you try. Diba? So, I mean, it's like going to the gym or writing.
Yeah.
If you get your reps in, you suddenly figure out what works for you, what doesn't work for you.
But I'd like to juxtapose that lang. My experience, there are others, let's admit it,
They're just so good.
naturally
Yeah.
talented. I
Yeah.
mean, you just tell them, you're so sad right now.
Iyak na.
May
Iyak.
ganun talaga, and that's okay. That's not me. That's not me. I'm not naturally talented, but I know I can put in the hard work. And I'm just glad na kahit papano that work does translate into results.
Okay.